January 15, 1947, a vacant lot in Los Angeles's Limert Park neighborhood would soon become the epicenter of one of the most grisly, unsolved murders in American history. A killing so shocking that its notoriety endures decades later. On that cold winter morning, a local woman, carrying her child, walked through the overgrown grass, expecting nothing out of the ordinary. What she saw instead defied belief. Lying in plain view just a few feet from the sidewalk was the naked body of a young woman, severed clean in half at the waist. It was, at first glance, so unnatural that the witness thought it might be a mannequin. But it wasn't artificial. It was human, brutally murdered. This was no ordinary crime scene. The victim had been drained of blood. Her torso was placed separate from her lower body. Cuts and slashes carved her face into a grotesque, frozen grin, a chilling detail that would haunt investigators for years. Before we go further, understand this: no killer was ever identified. The case was investigated by the Los Angeles Police Department, assisted by the FBI, and dozens of theories have emerged over the years, but none have led to a conviction. This is the brutal, baffling story of the Black Dahlia murder, and the question still stands: who killed Elizabeth Short? Who was Elizabeth Short? Elizabeth Short wasn't a stranger to Southern California when she died. Born in Boston in 1924, she moved to California in 1943, hoping to break into Hollywood as an actress. Known for her striking looks and youthful optimism, she became one of countless young hopefuls chasing dreams in Los Angeles, a city of glamour and illusion. Locals and friends described her as someone living on the edge of stability, working odd jobs, making acquaintances, always on the move, but always chasing something bigger. But by early 1947, her path would cross with a violence that would forever overshadow her ambitions. But the city would not remember her dreams, it would remember her death. The discovery that shocked a city. On January 15th, a mother out walking noticed something out of place: a body, discarded in a vacant lot. As police arrived, the horror was undeniable. The victim lay there, half of her body positioned neatly apart from the other, positioned with an eerie symmetry and devoid of blood, as if cleaned meticulously before being left behind. What made the crime scene even more unsettling was the lack of chaos, no sign of struggle, no immediate clues, nothing that pointed to a motive. It was calculated, precise, professional. Something about the killer's actions suggested someone who understood anatomy and control, someone devoid of hesitation or hesitation-inducing fear. Many investigators at the time even suspected medical training because of how cleanly the body was bisected. Despite the brutality, the coroner later ruled the cause of death was due to hemorrhaging from the repeated blows to her head and the stress on her body's vital organs. Even this, however, didn't lead to suspects. The investigation began. Once the body was identified as Elizabeth Short, the LAPD launched one of the most exhaustive and chaotic investigations in Los Angeles history. Over 750 detectives, policemen, and officers combed through evidence, interviews, and leads, yet every promising path led to dead ends. To complicate the case, within days of her body's discovery, letters started showing up at the Los Angeles Examiner. One notorious note was signed ominously as Black Dahlia Avenger, taunting authorities and the press. It even promised the killer's surrender, a promise that never materialized. The case spiraled into a media frenzy. Newspapers sensationalized every detail, and locals debated theories from nightclub owners to drug deals to army contacts. But amid all the public speculation, law enforcement struggled to separate fact from fiction. Federal Bureau of Investigation. Suspects, theories, and confessions. As news of the murder spread, so did confessions. More than 500 individuals claimed they were responsible for Short's death. Many were proven false, bizarre, or clearly mentally ill. One man, Daniel S. Voorhees, walked into the LAPD claiming responsibility, only to be dismissed once handwriting analysis proved his claims false. Decades later, a controversial theory emerged implicating Dr. George Hodel, a physician who was wiretapped by police as part of early investigations and later investigated in depth by his own son, retired LAPD detective Steve Hodel. Steve's research pointed to circumstantial evidence, letters, photographs, and soil samples matching decomposition chemicals found at Dr. Hodel's property. But this theory has never been proven in court and remains debated by experts. Though some modern researchers and authors have posited other suspects, definitive proof linking any individual to the murder has never been produced. The files sit in archives, the evidence remains cold, the killer remains free. Why the case remains unsolved? In every major murder investigation, physical evidence and timeline details are crucial, but in this case, both were severely lacking. The crime scene showed no fingerprints that could be conclusively matched, and the meticulous cleaning of the body eliminated trace evidence that might have led investigators closer. Over the last 75-plus years, advancements in forensics have solved cases once thought hopeless, yet the Black Dahlia mystery remains untouched by DNA breakthroughs or modern reanalysis, largely due to lost evidence, conflicting records, and a crime scene that was contaminated by media curiosity early on. But perhaps the most chilling reason the case persists is this: no killer has ever been arrested, indicted, or convicted. In all this time, law enforcement hasn't definitively proven who snapped Elizabeth Short's life away, or why. The legacy of a mystery. Stories of the Black Dahlia aren't mere news snippets or urban legends. They reflect a deeper truth about human fascination with the unknown, with brutality, and with unfinished endings. Her murder has inspired books, films, podcasts, and countless theories, but it has never been fully explained. Some see it as a haunting reminder of how evil can lurk beneath ordinary life, a nightmare buried in suburbia. Others look at it as a cautionary tale about the limits of justice itself. Whatever the interpretation, one thing is certain: the Black Dahlia's killer walked away untouched, unknown, and unpunished. Federal Bureau of Investigation. If you think you know who the Black Dahlia killer might have been, or if you believe new clues could still exist, let us know in the comments below. Subscribe for more unsolved crime stories from history.